Funny thing about Christmas music, you hear enough of it, you stop listening. But out on the water, on a black December night, one verse in the wrong place can wake up every hair on your arms. Sometimes it sounds like a choir. Sometimes it sounds like the sea learning the words. Tonight, we're not talking about the ships you see in a snowstorm. Tonight's about the ones you hear after they've already gone down. You slipped onto Dead Reckoning Radio, a legal broadcast from a ship that shouldn't belong to your century. Call me the captain, call me lost, both will still be true. By my reckoning, this is night 2 of 12 to Christmas, if I've counted them right this time. Last night we talked about a ship that wouldn't stay where it sank. Tonight, it's the voices that don't stay where they drowned. You get wrecks where they find the bodies. Neat row of stones on a hill, names on a plaque, hymn in the church. That kind of ending sits tidy on the page. Then there are the other ones. Ships that vanish between 2 points on the chart. Lifeboats turned up, maybe. Splintered hull on a rock, but no one to bury. Folks on shore don't sleep so well after those. Empty pews, empty beds, empty chairs at the Christmas table. Give it a winter or two and you start to hear the stories. The widow who hears singing out past the breakwater on Christmas Eve. The dockhands swearing there were voices out in the fog, keeping time with the bell in the harbor, though there's not a hole in sight. Wind carries sound in strange ways over cold water. Hymns from one village can drift down the coast and come ashore in another. You can explain most of it with weather and patience. Most of it. There's a little place off North Carolina, Ocracoke. They'll tell you if you stand at Teach's Hole on the right kind of night, you can hear old Blackbeard himself looking for his head. He lost it there. Queen Anne's Revenge on the bottom, his body overboard, his name turning from captain into example. Some folks say around Christmas, when the air's cold and the water's black, you can hear something out there talking to itself. Not singing, not praying, just counting debts. I like to picture him now out in the Spectral Sea. Not the jolly pirate from the mugs and t-shirts, but something leaner, meaner. A kind of underworld boss with a hole instead of an office. Still settling scores, still collecting souls that own something. Blackbeard is Scrooge, if you like, a man who only realized the value of another human voice when nobody dared speak his name above a whisper. You hear enough of those winter stories, wrecks with no bodies, hymns with no choir, and you start to wonder, are the living hearing echoes of the drowned, or are the drowned hearing us and answering back? Out here in the Spectral Sea, I don't need legends to tell me how far a song can travel. On a long watch, when the fog's thick and the snow's coming sideways, sound goes soft around the edges. The creak of a line can sound like a word. A wave slapping the hull can sound like a hand on the door. I've stood on this deck and heard hymns rolling over the black water. There is a record in the next room, until you try to pick out a lyric and it slides away from you. Too close and too far at the same time. Sometimes it's straight out of the old world, verses I grew up with, sung in voices I don't recognize. Sometimes it's worse. There are nights I hear my own crew, laughter in the mess, snatches of chorus from a song somebody would blast through the galley speakers when the shift was almost over. Names called down a passageway that isn't there anymore. I know they're dead, or I know they're not supposed to be here, which is close enough. It doesn't stop the voices. That's the thing about this place. The Spectral Sea keeps moments the way your world keeps photographs. On the shore, carols belong to one night. Sing them, forget them till next year. Out here, a good chorus can get stuck in the grooves. Play, skip back, play again. The living hear it as haunting. The dead might hear it as routine. Another shift, another December, another verse they never got to finish. I remember carols on land, street musicians with red cheeks and bad pitch, hot breath in the cold air clouding in front of their faces, kids forgetting half the words and shouting the ones they liked. And I remember dockside choirs too, people singing for the ships coming in before the holidays so the crews had something warm to step into. All that noise, you don't realize how much you'll miss it until the only choir left is the wind. We pipe the same songs on every Christmas cruise, of course. Deck speakers, synthetic snow, the whole Holiday at Sea package. I could stand on the bridge and hear 3 different versions of the same carol bleeding into each other from 3 different bars. At the same time, it felt cheap, cute, something for the comment cards. Now when the sea's in the right mood, I hear voices doing the same thing. Overlapping verses, no source I can point to, and it's not cute anymore. Some nights I can tell they're not mine, just the sea recycling somebody else's ghosts. Some nights I'd swear I recognize who's singing. I know I'm the only living soul left on this hull. I know that. But knowledge and hearing don't always agree out here. Last night I told you this was a loop of Decembers. Tonight, I'll add this. It's not just dates that repeat. It's the songs, the jokes, the arguments on the mess deck, the quiet Merry Christmases people mutter when they think nobody's listening. Out here, the sea keeps all of that. And when it's feeling generous or cruel, it lets the captain hear what he's lost. So if you're near the coast this week and you hear a carol coming in off the water when there's no boat in sight, maybe it's just wind and tide. Or maybe it's someone who never made it back to sing on land, still trying to finish the verse. Either way, don't lean too far over the rail to listen. There are stories they tell in winter, not about what's on the water, but what waits just below the pier, under the black boards and frost-lit ladders. Tomorrow night, we'll talk about those. The things your parents invented to keep you away from the tide on Christmas Eve, and the ones the sea invented to prove them right. We'll light a lantern for the Krampus of the coastline, and see what comes up when it sees a ship still moving. Until then, if you're hearing this, keep your feet back from the edge, and don't answer any songs that know your name. This is your lost captain, Night 2 of 12, signing off, for now.